In this tutorial, we will show you how to build grid cell data from digitized maps. So we open up the preprocessor and we will now create a new file, and we'll clear all data, and we will choose to use metric units for this example. And then we will go to digitized data, and presuming that you already have some maps digitized, we want using the Bindic program. Then we want to transform those ASCII digitized data into a binary form that the preprocessor can read. And this is called transforming digitized data. So it goes in 3 steps. We transform it, we build it, and then we infill the grid. So in transform digitized data, we will go to the samples folder, and there are several samples of digitized data that we have here, and this one here is a TDE layer 1 according to naming format. This is a structure map of layer 1. This is a DZC, a thickness map of layer 1. This is a well location with the word well in the name. So if you select these 3 files and open them, and go into the transform digitized data form. In the selected files, we want to transform it, and it's very quick, it's done. So we can close that form, and then go to the second step, build a grid. In build a grid, then we want to show that map that we had just transformed, the display map, in the Bindic contour format file. You have other options if you do have other digitized formats, and we, in this example, use the Bindic contour file that we just transformed, and there's 3 files that we have transformed in this folder. The structure map, we use the thickness map, net pay map, the structure map, and the location map. So we use the the net pay map, open it up, and we can see the contours of the file. If you now want to build a new grid, we can create a new grid. And to create a new grid, we can specify the dimensions of the grid as the cells in the X, Y, and Z direction. For this example, assume it's a 30 by 30 by 1 layer. We will subdivide into multiple layers later on. But given 30 by 30 by 1, it's okay to that. This builds a default grid. Now we have to resize the grid to fit the shape of the reservoir. And if we think that we want to orient that along any permeability trends, we can rotate the grid, and we can use the scroll bar to move that, or specify the angle rotation directly in here. And then resize the grid again if necessary. Resize the grid. Doesn't have to be exactly, we can have more or less, but just for purpose of showing you this, I've resized exactly to the shape of that contour lines. Okay. So once we've resized it, we can close it, and we say we accept the new grid definition. So we're gonna accept any changes to it and say yes. And then our third step will be to infill the grid. That means we're going to take data from the map contours and convert that to grid cell values. So the maps that we have would be the net pay map, the structure map, and the well location map. So we will select those 3 files and infill them. Comes up with the form, and since we are using Bindic, the DIG format, it converts it to GRD. We know this is the Bindic format. We know this naming convention, DZC, TDE, the word well in it. And this is layer 1. And we will now infill these 3 files. And this is usually very quick. It's done. Exit of that, and now we can go back to the preprocessor and look at display modified grid cell values. In display modified grid cell values, when we open it, we right away see some parameters of data. So in this select parameters form, we see the parameters of data, and the parameters of data shows that because we have set up the grid, we know the size of the cells, we have infilled the contour map from the net thickness map, we have infilled from the structure map, and we now have grid cell data values from overlaying the grid over the map. We will display layer 1 at this point in time. We could have displayed other rows or columns, but we show this layer 1, the net thickness, and we would use a set of colors to go from the minimum to maximum, and we'll now display that map. And this, when we display the map, it comes up, and this is the map that we've got for net thickness. We can display the our contour map on top of that, and the contour map will be the structure. You can see how good a job we did in infilling the map. And if you look at the other new grid window, look at the top depth map, the second map, and here we want to display the contour map for the structure, and that shows how good a job we did in the infilling of the model. So where there's data, where there are lines, it does a fairly good job. Where there's no lines, then it's an ambiguous area, and the infill doesn't do too well on that. But let's save this file, and let's save it. And file, save to Exodus data file, and accept all those error checks that say no carry on. Accept that error. Save in spite of errors, yes, and save it as COU for S, and save it. This completes this tutorial, and we go to the next tutorial showing how to modify and add additional grid cell parameters to the data set. Thank you for